Ever since I was a little kid, I really wanted to start my own business. Even though I wanted to be an entrepreneur from such an early age, it wasn't until I was 28 years old that I really start my first company and take the plunge. But at that moment, when I was quitting my job, it was scary. Just to kind of give you an example of how much of a nerd I was, if you asked me when I was 10 years old what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would tell you I want to have a company that makes a huge difference with a really high employee to revenue ratio. I know I warned you, it was pretty nerdy. The funny thing about this is even though I wanted to be an entrepreneur from such an early age, and even though my father was an entrepreneur and I was surrounded by entrepreneurship, it wasn't until I was 28 years old that I really start my first company and take the plunge. Now, I did my first startup in college, but that didn't count because I was in college. I didn't have to think about a paycheck or bills or any of those things, fortunately for me. But it wasn't until I was 28 did I quit my six-figure job, did I take a plunge, did I downsize my life and really take on some risk to start my own company. Now, amazing things happened since I started ToutApp and sold it. I learned things faster than ever before. I created things. It was awesome and the best decision I ever made. But at that moment when I was quitting my job, it was scary. That time leading into that moment, there would be this time where the skies would part and it would be a very clear sign saying, yes, you should quit your job now and start that company. It was messy. And so in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the process and how you take that plunge and start that business. There's basically 3 tips I want to give you along those lines. I'm going to be doing future episodes all around this idea of starting that business and getting that idea and growing that company. But in this episode, I'm just going to give you 3 tips on how to get started. So if you're an entrepreneur or you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to take that plunge, here are the 3 tips that I would give you. Number one, do not quit cold turkey. Now, even for my most experienced entrepreneur friends, it takes anywhere from 12 months to 24 months before they really figure out the idea. It really does take that long. And so for people that quit cold turkey, they quit their jobs and they say, nope, I'm gonna go start a business. I'm like, what are you starting? I don't know yet. Not a good idea. Do not do that. Instead, carve out time in your day today, whether it's just a project or it's an idea, carve out some time while you still have your job to flesh it out. And so here's how I think about my days, and this is how I thought about it when I was starting Tout or before I even quit my job to start Tout. Every single person gets the same 24 hours in the day. So each of these boxes is an hour in your day. I blocked out 8 of those boxes for you to sleep. I blocked out 8 of those boxes for you to work, and I even blocked out 2 of those boxes for family and friends. That leaves you with 6 whole boxes that are empty and that could be allocated toward your dreams. Now, let me be very clear. Everyone gets these 24 hours, and I get it. You gotta sleep, you gotta eat, you gotta spend time with friends and family, you gotta work. True, but you still have those 6 hours. What do most people do with those 6 hours? You spend it in front of TV, you watch Netflix, you waste time at work at the water cooler, you shoot the shit. It's all a waste. But if you think about those boxes as 6 blocks of productivity that actually yields returns for your future, gets you closer to your dreams, how would that be filled out? So don't just quit cold turkey, actually allocate some time towards your ideas and start developing them. Number 2, as you come up with these ideas, I meet a lot of entrepreneurs that have so much conviction, like this is it, this is gonna be a $1 billion company. I get it. But step 2, you should talk to some customers. Fill those 6 boxes, those 6 hours, and allocate them. And they're actually longer on weekends if you really think about them. And allocate them towards talking to customers. Go find people that would potentially buy that product. Get lunch with them, get dinner with them, forge relationships with them. Figure out your idea can actually be validated with actual customers. And in a lot of cases, and I've seen entrepreneurs do this, they just put up a little landing page, they put up some copy, they put up some screenshots, and they hit a button that says sign up for private access, and they use that to test out the validity of their idea before they've written a single line of code, bought anything, quit their jobs or any of that to test it out. So before you actually take that plunge and you complain about how you can't possibly quit your job, block out those 6 hours, start spending time validating your ideas with actual customers. And then number 3, no one ever likes a entrepreneur. Everyone's got that friend that's talked about starting a company for a very long time and hasn't come to terms yet on whether they're gonna do it or they haven't come up with that idea. There are lots of good reasons for it, but you gotta get past that. So number 3 is you have to execute. Execute and take that plunge when the time is right, and you'll know when the time is kind of right. And I'll explain that in a second. But firstly, as you're validating your idea, you want to test it out. You want to be religious about spending those 6 hours on the idea you care about because it matters. It shows your dedication. And as that starts to happen, you start to put out this energy into the world that you want to start this company. You have this idea that you want to develop. And you'll be amazed at how opportunities come your way. I wasn't in a position to quit my job cold turkey. I didn't really have a trust fund. I had some savings, I had expenses. And so as I started to develop my idea and I started to get conviction that there's something there, I started getting consulting offers. I went to my job and I said, hey, I'm gonna move on, I wanna start a company. And they offered to bring me on as a consultant on a temporary basis. I had my friend, Andrew Wicklander. He hit me up and said, hey, I've got a project, do you wanna work together? And that got me my initial consulting dollars so that I could quit my job and split my time 50-50 between ToutApp and consulting. And as ToutApp started to take off, consulting started to ramp down, and I was able to make a huge transformation in my life from being a salaried employee to being an entrepreneur and then going on to raising money. Now, I will admit, I always thought that there would be this perfect moment where the clouds parted, everything aligned, and there'd be this sign almost right in front of me saying, today's the day to quit your job. But it wasn't that comfortable, honestly. I didn't even know for sure if it would work. Totally for sure, I didn't really know. I didn't know what I was headed for. I didn't have all my savings or like a year of runway like a lot of people do, and that's a good thing if you can do that. But I had some stability and I had another thing to jump onto, and I was able to split my time and take that plunge. It's never perfect, it's never comfortable. It will always feel uneasy, but you'll still know when the time is almost there. And then the rest of it, you just gotta have belief and optimism. So those are my 3 tips. Start making some time, carve out that time, talk to customers, and then execute. Over the next few episodes, I'll talk more about how to find the right idea, how to develop it, how to recruit a team, all of those things that come along this theme of starting a company. And separate from that, I've also got this other stream going about how to grow companies with sales, marketing, product strategies. Overall, I just want to share everything I've learned around entrepreneurship and building companies on this channel. That's why I take those 6 boxes. I have a really big job. I have a global role in a massive company, but I still allocate those hours towards Unstoppable because it's important for me to give back. I find pleasure in that. I have absolutely loved the emails I've gotten from all of you, asking more questions, engaging with me, and going back and forth on what's working for you and what's not. I love that stuff, and that's a requirement almost for me to give back because I feel blessed in the things that have come into my life. And so I block out these 6 hours, so should you, to pursue your dreams. I'm TK, you're watching Unstoppable. Make sure you hit the subscribe button or follow this link to sign up for our mailing list so that you get notified of the next episode about starting companies, building businesses, and also becoming the best version of yourself. I'm TK, this is Unstoppable. See you next time.